Zimbabwe, thank you so much for choosing Zimnet Radio and for tuning in to your show tonight. I hope we are going to have a good show, and we are going to discuss things that has been taking place in Zimbabwe. And we are also told that tomorrow it will be another big day back home. Right, the guy today saw. Things are happening in Zimbabwe there, and we are told that tomorrow Mnangagwa will be appointed as the president of Zimbabwe. The program starts at 6:30 a.m. Would you believe? Gates will be opened at the National Sports Stadium at 6:30 a.m. in the morning there in Harare, where a lot of people will be talking. And the first note I saw there was that the president will be speaking himself. I think it says, let me have a look, 10 minutes after 12 the Zimbabwean time. So if you're in the UK, that's 10 minutes after 10 in the morning. But Africa, 10 minutes after 12. The whole nation is waiting to hear what he is going to say, because that would probably make or break his tenure as a president. But anyhow, it was a jubilant day on Tuesday. I know I had a night shift on Monday, and I was trying to sleep, and phone calls were coming from back home. Everyone, in tears, happy, and saying that he's finally gone. I even see Pastor Ivan Mawariri uncontrollably crying, saying that he didn't think this day was going to come. But anyway, we don't want to dwell on what happened in the past. We want to dwell on what's next for us, what's next for Zimbabwean history. Let me welcome our panelists here for today.
That's DJ Sodza.
How are you there in Birmingham?
Birmingham is okay, but we are still celebrating, but at the edge of chaos.
Yes, I saw you. You were screening all the TV screens. Giving your opinion. I must say you did very well there.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Mukoma Benford, happy Thanksgiving to you there. Yeah, I thought maybe you abandoned the show.
No. Mabasa anenge akatisunga, but I was always listening to my podcast. I don't think I missed any.
Okay.
Including last week when Sally made a prediction that whoever thought Mugabe was going to live at dementia. And it turned out
yes,
a few days later that Mugabe was removed from power.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mukoma Benford. Sally, welcome to the show.
Thank you, DJ Sodza. Good evening, everybody. And Elliot, I want to say thank you very, very much for taking time out to answer my question. Those other big-headed old men that couldn't have been bothered, I asked the question twice in the group, and they never answered. Thank you very much, Elliot.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Teteno Mazulu ku Germany uko. Are you heading to another general election there? I'm told your lady is in trouble there, Angela Merkel.
Oh, absolutely, yes. She's in trouble.
Right.
So this Jamaican coalition didn't work. So it would appear as if we are going for another election.
Wonderful. Anyway, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sekuru Birmingham, welcome to the show. Congratulations, you managed to beat Tottenham on Saturday. That was unexpected. Yeah, because Tottenham is a better team, isn't it?
Small teams with rush.
Maswera says Sekuru.
Aswera zvamuti maswera wamakadiko vana veZimbabwe nemakorokoto kubura mpombo repolitics rekuZimbabwe iro. Makaita basa chasara kuti tichidzura chiguta chinonzi ZANU.
Aiwa ndatenda zvangu Sekuru. Andisikuziya vachangotibata. Well, thank you so much for those that are tuning in for the very first time. Thank you so much for listening to our show. This is what we do every Thursday. Make a date with us, put it in your phone, make sure you're listening every Thursday. We'll be here about this time talking things that are happening in Zimbabwe, especially on the political side of things. Listen guys, what we are going to do today, I've got lots and lots of things that I want to discuss with you. But what we are going to do is, I'll be just asking a question, then I'll give everybody a chance to answer that question, and we move on to another question. Right. Can I start with you, Vapepe, there? I know some people might say it's uncalled for, but for me it's very, very important for people to understand who removed Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Because that, I think in future, I'm going to come to that as well, asking people, because I want to know who successfully removed Mugabe on Tuesday.
I think first people need to understand that the removal of Robert Mugabe was not an event, but was a process. If you look at it, we can actually cast back as far back as Zoom had taken. It did its own impact, although short-lived. And for the past 17 years, if you remember, our core has always been the removal of Robert Mugabe for the past since September 1999. And the pressure has been building up. And yes, civic organizations for the past 2 years or so, they've also joined in. So yes, and within ZANU-PF themselves, that pressure actually led to the rupture of ZANU-PF as an organization, and this implosion that culminated into the army. If you remember well, in 2013 when they rigged the elections, President Tsvangirai said, look, you've rigged the elections, but you will not rig the economy. And it was a frank speech which have manifested itself. Because even the army were saying for the past 4 years, the government has not been functional. And as such, there's been economic meltdown, people can't access their monies, and there's purely no prosperity for Zimbabweans. So it's yes.
So what you're saying is it has been a process. We can't point a finger to say this person actually removed Mugabe.
No, indeed. And for your own information, if it was not for the economic meltdown, we wouldn't even talking about Mugabe having resigned.
Okay, all right. Aiwa. Thank you so much, Vapepe, for that. Regarding the pandemic, Teteno Mazuluku, Jemenuko, what do you believe happened here? Who pushed him?
Well, I would first of all go back to G40. I think the G40 pushed Mugabe out. Their actions and reactions towards La Poste did trigger a reaction from the army to react, and they reacted. They reacted because G40 had just gone too far, and it had to happen that way. You cannot sincerely say kuti Mnangagwa, because of his expulsion, I do not want to buy that. Because, you know, he ran away. Mnangagwa ran away. Yeah. And then he let the people inside the army, inside Zimbabwe, you know, to effect change when he was away from Zimbabwe, you know. So you can't sincerely say Kuti, it was Mnangagwa. He claims Kuti he was certainly in touch. But you have to understand Kuti inside the army there, Chiwenga was supposed to be arrested when he arrived from China, you know. So if he was supposed to be arrested, which means he was supposed to be murdered. So it was a reaction from his personal point of view. But now look, this is how far this man has gone. Yeah. I can't really pinpoint Kuti. It was the work of Mnangagwa. I cannot. You can't run away and then you tell us Kuti, you know, you are a hero coming back. I do not want to be. It may have been, a circuit, you know, whereby Mnangagwa's dissatisfaction and Chiwenga's coming back from China, you know. Mnangagwa was supposed to be killed. Yes, Chiwenga is supposed to be imprisoned, you know, perhaps also be killed, you know. So it was a chain reaction, as Mr. Peve put it. It's a chain reaction that started a long time. I would think it started when Mujuru left. That's when everything went. I think I would say G40 is the person, is the group that effected this change. Especially
the way she reacted. Okay. Thank you so much, Tete Noma Zulu, for that. I want to go Kuna Sekuru next. Sekuru, can you tell me who removed Mugabe as we speak?
The honest truth is Muno akabisa orochinu chakabisa Mugabe pa power military Zimbabwe. Masoja Chiwenga do akabisa Mugabe pachigaro. How they did it was that they shifted ground from the common protection they used to give him to buying into the MDC Clarion Corps for Mugabe to make way. In the minute they shifted that ground, Mugabe was gone.
How did they shift it, Sekuru? Can you explain to us?
Well, it was very simple. The army itself had a run-in with Mai Mugabe. Mai Mugabe has been calling the army names and challenging them that they were not a match to her husband.
Okay.
And they then got angry with that. They thought they were in charge of the country. Because if you listen to Chiwenga, Chiwenga has always been saying the army will determine what happens to the person who will take over after Mugabe. He didn't mean these words about that. They have always been controlling Mugabe. But Mai Mugabe became big-headed and started challenging these people. Unbeknown to her was that there is a history between these people and Mugabe. Because I can assure you the army didn't want Mugabe to go, but they had no option. After Mai Mugabe made her remarks which were very uncomplimentary to the war veterans, very uncomplimentary to the army, and singing praises of her husband and exalting herself as the first lady of the country, married to the best man in the world. The men in uniform did not like that.
Aywa. Sekuru, thank you so much for that. Sally, what do you think happened here? Who finally kicked Mugabe out of office?
It was the army. But you know what Sekulu said frightens me more than anything. Because, look, this thing started for me, okay? For me, this thing, this breaking apart and this, I call it Zanu eating Zanu, started with the killing of Solomon Majuru, okay? That for me, I thought, whoa, this has gone high, okay? And I realized then that Zanu was now going to start eating Zanu. And that is what this whole thing that happened in Zimbabwe was about. Now, my huge problem with it is, if the army is there to protect the people and the country, what was it doing in party internal fighting? It's not an army anymore then. It's now ZANU-PF private security. Because if Chiwenga hadn't had the army, Mugabe would never have stepped down. And you see that whole what do you call it, conglomeration or whatever it is, really frightens me. Because now what happens if the army now has been supporting who? ZANU-PF. Now you get either Changurai or Majuru that win, okay? And then they do something that the army doesn't like, and then the army comes out against them. You see, and then bring ZANU-PF back. For me, it's very, very dangerous. I don't like the fact that the army were involved in a ZANU-PF internal fight. I don't. It's a fight of personalities in a party. I don't like that. So, yeah, the army did it. Okay, Chiwenga did it. The thing when Mnangagwa got kicked out, that put the fear of the Almighty into Chiwenga, because he realized, oh, wait a minute here. My neck is going to be on the line. And I'm not going to have the power and everything else that goes with it that I've had before. He knew he was going to be next. And that's what spurred this thing. But I do not like the fact that the army was there. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
It frightens me.
Sally, thank you so much for that. Koma Benford, what's your take on this one? Do you think it was an accumulation of things, or merely the army stepped in here and take Mugabe out?
DJ Sodza, I will be straight into the point.
Yes.
This was a coup.
Right.
And iku yakaitwa ne army. We can speculate, we can talk about zakaita kuti vasvike ipapo, including the fact that Chiwenga was obviously on the line, with reports that the police wanted to arrest him paakadzoka from China. He knew in one way or the other he had to fight for his own survival. Ultimately, this is the army that removed Mugabe. Now, we are celebrating, I think as a nation, all of us, we are happy that Mugabe is gone, which is great. Yeah, but let's also understand that this is not a good development. This intervention yakaitwa ne army is not good for our democracy. In the long term, we heard Chiwenga Aitaura kuti I'm defending the constitution. This is the same guys who were saying they will never salute Changirai because they are number war credentials. And you want to look in our constitution and you ask yourself, kuti zviripa ipa zvakanyora constitution yedu. So They cannot claim to want to defend the constitution when it suits themselves. And kana chisinga chavanakiri, they abuse the constitution. So that is the sad part. But overall, I think everybody is happy that Mugabe is gone, and let's give our country a good start.
Now, thank you so much. Regarding this question, Cheat. Personally, I'm very disturbed with what the army did. I mean, I put this question to a lot of people in different groups and all that. Some were trying to be funny, but I think the truth of the matter, from my point of view, it was a coup. And do we want to encourage this in a Zimbabwe 10, 20 years down the line? Because let's say your man Sekuru Trangirai gets into power, 20 years down the line he is in power, and the army come out and they have the same thing and say they are putting Lumumba in. You understand? You cannot say then that it is wrong because you have accepted this. That's how I felt personally. I normally don't give any kind of opinion of my own on this show, but I think it was the army. I think it was a blatant coup which happened, and it played into people's minds because people were so desperate that they would even prefer a baboon to be a president of Zimbabwe ahead of Mugabe. So they just went with it, with this coup, because they were so desperate, because nobody was going to remove Mugabe. He wanted to die in power. But anyway, kune wamwe wachangotibata panhare apo. Hello, Pazimnet Radio.
Oh, hello, Magadi.
Tinofara maswera sei kumko?
No, taswera musha, meno maswera sei koko.
Aywa, taswera. It's good to have you on the show here. This is the question that I thought I might ask people, just so that we can tijekesera kuti really who took out Mugabe here, because I thought it was a blatant coup myself. But what did you think mukoma kuti zvakabva papi kuti Mugabe tinge tisinaye muzwara nhasi? Who initiated, who did this job?
I think really it was a lot of events leading from one thing to the other, and it was always building up, and it was inevitable because the power of Mugabe has always been defense, not the vote of the people. We know that in 2008, Mugabe lost, drastically to Tsvangirai, and that this same army, we want to defend the constitution. They are the ones who violated the constitution and who violated, the vote of the people who voted Mugabe out. And from what we hear, we don't know how credible this is. Mugabe was ready to go, and Chiwenga and his fellow friend Mnangagwa, they chipped in and they said, no, we cannot have Tsvangirai coming into power. So now, Nasudas of Mama Kuseni, we want to defend this constitution. We want the people to speak freely, like in his statement that he said just before that coup happened. I mean, also saying that I agree with you it was a coup, Saka these guys here, I think they played a very pivotal role in seeing this guy going. And once you've got the military coming through, it's a coup. You can't have a guy wearing a uniform, national address at the nation. That is a coup. Some say, if it sounds like a duck and it walks like a duck, it is a duck. Saka, that was a coup.
So, Mukoma, now going forward, I'm just wondering here, going forward, what we have in Zimbabwe, it's a state that is ruled by army. If we just go deeper, now, if Mnangagwa, he's going to be put on tomorrow, if he does anything that the army don't want, he will be a goner. This is what we are saying, isn't it, guys?
Absolutely. That's why Mugabe's power, it has always been like that, because Mugabe's power has always been the army and the police. He's been using state machinery, to keep himself into that position, Yangari. So those same guys that have been keeping him in there, they've removed him. It has never been the people we have been voting him in. No one has ever voted for that guy to be in there. Well, of course, some people have voted for him, but he's never had the majority of people of Zimbabwe, of the electoral guys, one vote on the ground for Zimbabwe. And it was just shown now after, I know he's been removed by crook, whatever it means that has been removed by. You can see the joy in everyone, including the guys that were around him, the guys that were sitting on the same table. They are all like relieved. Oh my God, we are so happy this happened. The same guy that was reading speech, Mnangagwa, you've been fired, and Basarapera, is the same guy who's reading, introducing Mnangagwa, saying, Mnangagwa, you are the people's champion, now come in, we are so happy to have you. So everyone just wanted the guy to go.
Right. Okay. Aiwa, thank you so much, Mkoma. Now, Sekuru ndoda kudzoka pamuri. Muripo irapo Sekuru. Yes. Sekuru, I'm just wondering here kuti. Ndabotaura nemikuseri earlier on, but what does this mean for opposition in Zimbabwe? These events that has happened in the past week, what does it mean for an opposition? Do they have any prayer, really? Honestly speaking, to ever rule Zimbabwe?
The opposition will be in power in 2018. They will rule the country. The problem we have with the military at the present moment is that they've staged a coup in favor of the majority sentiment. And the military intervened and staged a coup against a popular president. They wouldn't be getting the support that they got from the generality of the populace. At the present moment, to show you that they are popular, people, if you look at social media, people are saying we don't want the police on the streets, we would rather have the army. The military right now, as I'm talking right now, they are in charge of the country. It's not Mnangagwa who is in charge. It's not ZANU-PF who is in charge. It's the military. But then the difference between the military and the ZANU-PF is conflated. So what I'm saying is the opposition is going to win with a handsome majority the elections. And the Chiwenga will have no reason to interfere with that outcome. Because if he does, he will have to find an excuse from the constitution that tells us that he must impose a person of his choice as our president. That is why, in my own view, the MDC should not even bother itself with a transitional government involvement in this particular instance. They should take complete care of it, because our agenda was to remove Mugabe. Thanks to the army, we have removed him. Our agenda has always been to ascend to power using the constitutional route, which is the elections. And the elections are next year. Why would they want any other arrangement? Everything is in our favor at the moment. The main obstacle has been removed, who was refusing for constitutional changes. Now the opportunity is there.
Sekuru, hand on heart, do you honestly think that come July the elections are called for and MDC wins 75% of the vote in Zimbabwe? Do you honestly think people like Chiwenga and et al. Will accept it?
Yes, he will be the first one to run up to the podium and salute the new opposition president. That is if he is still the army commander. Because the likelihood of him being co-opted into the new government and being retired from the army is very high.
All right. Sekuru, thank you so much for that. And Kuti, Sally.
Yes, DJ Sodza.
Let's talk the future here, Sally. What do you think is going to happen in the next, let's say there's an election next July. Number one, do you think Mnangagwa has got the capacity and the popularity to beat Tsvangirai in a fair election in Zimbabwe?
there have to be conditions first before I can answer that truthfully. The Constitution, the 36, I think, isn't it, Sekuru? There's still 36. Remaining laws have to be aligned.
Those laws, Sally,
Uh-huh.
do not affect the election or the outcome of the election.
Okay, fine.
They just affect the conduct of the election. We
Right.
know that.
No, yes, but that's what we have to have to then be able to say it's a free and fair election, isn't it? We've got to have everything in place before you go to elections, isn't it?
Yes, but remember Mugabe was beaten by Shangri without even those
Yes, Sekuru.
reforms.
Yes, but we are in the position now where we can, you see, for me, looking at Mnangagwa is absolutely hungry to get international investment. Okay? I'm a bit scared of that because unless you've got people, good people, strong people, negotiating the deals, we're going to end up in a mess again. Okay? So I'm a bit worried about that. But he is, Mnangagwa, when you say international investment, his eyes start sparkling. They look like diamonds out of the Kimberley hole. Okay? So he's out to impress the West, to get the West involved and investing. So we are at a perfect stage of now saying, listen, you want all this support and this investment and everything, we've got to get this sorted out. I don't know if it's intelligent, but I would like ZEC to be sorted out because I don't like the way ZEC is. It's aligned to ZANU-PF and I don't want that.
Okay. Sally, okay, I want to move on, Sally. Now, Sally, let's assume that MDC Alliance, let's assume that MDC Alliance win the election in July next year. Do you think people like Chiwenga will accept it?
I'm not sure about that because if he finds out that he's going to be okay with whoever wins, okay, then he's going to be all right. I mean, if he can carry on doing what he's been doing, all right, he's going to be okay. But if he feels under threat from the person that gets elected, that wins, I don't know quite how he's going to do, but it depends. It depends who it is that wins, and it depends whether he feels under threat or not. Because you see what happens when he feels under threat.
Yes. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Sally. Teteno Mazulu. Right. Teteno Mazulu. Teteno Mazulu. What's your take on this? Do you honestly think that if any other party other than ZANU-PF win the 2018 general election, people like Chiwenga will accept it?
Let me begin by saying I'm happy that MDC-T is not going along with this NTA with ZANU right now. First of all, I think they were clever this time. I really don't know what made them clever. I think Chinamasa sidelined them, in that Saturday, big rally, that 1 million big rally that happened in Harare. So, well, MDCT is not going to the elections. Is not going for NTA with ZANU. That is excellent, What I'm worried about in MDCT is that Tsvangirai really is not well. I don't think he's a powerful contender to Mnangagwa. You know, his health, you know, may mean a lot in the coming elections, unless if MDCT addresses that. You know.
But the question, let's rephrase the question so that we don't wander around.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, assuming in his poor health, Tsvangirai is elected president, will the army allow him to be president?
Yes, that's the question. Thank you, Seku.
Yeah, definitely not. You know, because you have to understand why was the coup there. The coup was not because the economy was bad. The coup was because Mnangagwa has been, you know, sacked, and Chiwenga was supposed to be imprisoned. You know, it was all an internal thing. I am coming back to what Benson said. You know, Mkoba Benson, you said Guti, in the 2008 elections, you know, the army went out of their way, you know, they disowned the constitution, and then they were part and parcel of ZANU, you know, they maimed, they killed, they did everything on behalf of ZANU so that ZANU wins. MDCT had won 74% according to Mugabe's admission, yeah, and then Vakabika my election so that MDC goes down to 47%. Yeah? So which means army is not with the people. You know? Army is with ZANU. TF. I think this is what got lost when people were jubilating yesterday. When people went for this 1 million thing. Oh, you know, they were hijacked by ZANU. And then they said, look, this is what the people are saying. You know, if you listened to that speech ya Mnangagwa yesterday when he came back from South Africa, and then he says the people have spoken. Certainly, the army spoke, man. The people would not have gone to the street if the army didn't allow them to do so.
Yes, yeah. Well said, Tete. Anyway, thank you so much, Tete. We have had your answer there. Mapepe.
Yes.
May I put the same question to you?
Yeah. Chiwenga or no Chiwenga, if Mnangagwa is thrashed convincingly,
yes,
he come next year, 2018. Both, I don't see the army even intervening. Mind you, let us not be. Let us try to scaremonger our support base in Zimbabwe. This is not the first time that Zimbabwe is not the first country to have been led by a guerrilla movement. We saw this one in various countries. But there's a limit to what military frontal attack can sustain. And I think what the message that we should be communicating to the people in Zimbabwe is that they should register, they should come in their millions, and that ZANU-PF is at its weakest point. This implosion, this actually crisis that they are facing. My dear, today alone, Zimbabwe Stock Exchange lost $6 billion. So even the economy in Zimbabwe is not confident with the Mnangagwa leading the country, leapfrogging the economy forward. So today alone, $6 billion, which is 40% of the Zimbabwean stock market. Already you can see that there's turmoil in the market. But what we are saying is, Tsvangirai is the candidate for MDC Alliance and is the best foot forward for Zimbabweans. Not only Tsvangirai as an individual, the policies of MDC Alliance speaks for themselves. People remember during the government of national unity, within 4 years, we actually managed to put smiles on people's faces from virtually nothing. And when we left in 2013, when they rigged the election, look at the mess where we are now. in 3 years, we have nothing of an economy to speak about. MDC is the solution. And MDC is ready.
Yes.
Army or no army, forget about that.
But Elliot, just answer the question. Would the army allow President Tsvangirai to be sworn in if he wins?
Well, why not? I mean,
exactly. That is the answer that we want.
All right.
Yes.
That's fine. Thank you so much, Wapepe. Regarding the Mukoma Benford. Mukoma Benford, may I put the same question to you? Will army allow anyone from the opposition who might win the following election to be sworn in?
Yes, DJ Sodza. The army has no choice. They have put themselves in a very difficult position because they are saying they are there to safeguard the constitution of the country. So they cannot turn back at any point, at least in the near future, and say we are not respecting the constitution. Because people will always remind them of what they have said. Which is why some people are not looking at this as a coup, because they were, written protection of the country's constitution, and therefore, I don't see that as anything as a problem. Whoever is going to win the next election will be the president of Zimbabwe. The question, though, is does the opposition have a chance of winning the next election? That is where I think. As far as I'm concerned, the opposition is now done. Whether you want to bring United Nations to run the elections, Mnangagwa is going to win 2018 elections. Free and fair. You might say whatever you want. That is going to happen.
That's a good answer. That's a good and straightforward answer.
Okay.
Opposition is finished, DJ Sodza.
All right.
Not answering the question. The question you've already answered.
Okay, you've answered the question. Thank you so much. We'll come to that, Sekuru. We'll come to that, to the focus. Mukoma Kudzi.
Yes, DJ Sodza.
Yes, can I ask you the same question? Mimi munofunga here kuti if any party other than ZANU-PF win the next election, the party will, the army will salute and say that's fine.
Yes, the army equals because they are now singing from the Zimbabwe constitution. So they will have to say yes. We will salute you, Mr. Tsvangirai. You've won, these elections. But the biggest hurdle that the opposition have got is there is a system which is in place in Zimbabwe, which was created by Mugabe, which is now another battle which they have to fight now. Is it going to be possible under this system for Tsvangirai to win the elections? That's where the big question is. Because as it is, the system which is there, it's biased and it clearly favors, ZANU-PF. So given the current system which is there, I cannot see how Tsvangirai can win the elections, because already we have seen who is in charge. We already have seen who's pulling the strings here. So, and we know where these guys are, whose side they are on. They are not on the side of the people. They are just using the name people, using the name constitution. They are not on the side of the constitution. We know which side they are on. So given the current, system which is there, I cannot see how Tsvangirai or any other opposition leader, apart from ZANU-PF, apart from Mnangagwa, winning those elections.
Mukoma, okay.
We are answering two questions.
Yeah, the question I want to ask it next, Sekuru. That's my next question, but I just want to be clear. Mukoma, let's not talk about who do you think is going to win that election. I'm going to come to that next. But for now, I'm just asking Kuti, Ikangaya win one opposition is ZANU-PF at the minute. Will the army accept it?
On paper, yes. Theoretically, yes, they will accept it.
Okay, right. All right. Thank you so much. Kana mchangoti bata Zimbabwe. This is Zimlet Radio. Tikukurukura the events that are happening in Zimbabwe. Regarding Bongera Mvura for a minute, and I'll be back after this short break.
Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
This is a disclaimer. The opinions expressed by contributors during radio call-in shows are solely those of the individual callers and do not reflect the opinions of Zimnet Radio, DJs, presenters, managers or administration. Listeners are encouraged and advised to seek the services of qualified professionals for their personal problems.
In touch with the best online station, Zimnet Radio.
This was Neitaka. Thank you so much. I've had a nice cup of coffee here, to kumbodzisa mapapu and all that. It's quite cold up here now. What's the degrees? 2 degrees. Well, it's not freezing, but just above. Anyway, 7 minutes before 11, Kunoku United Kingdom. My next question, I look at Emerson Mnangagwa. The other thing I wanted to say was, I think all the foreign journalists and all this kind of thing, they need to be told that it's not Mungwangwangwa, it's Mnangagwa.
even the people that are in Zimbabwe and the African journalists, I'm telling you, I was rolling.
They are struggling, aren't they?
The one South African journalist, if I didn't know that she was talking about Mnangagwa, I would have grabbed some Nigerian out of the bush somewhere.
Now, anyway.
I laughed.
Yeah, jokes aside, but this is a guy, I'm told he couldn't even win in Kwekwe as an MP in 2000 and in 2005. Now, I'm just wondering, Sally, on a fair ground, do you see this man winning majority of votes in Zimbabwe if he calls for an election next year?
On completely fair ground.
Yes.
Completely fair.
On completely fair ground.
You see, it's too early for me to give you an answer that I'm sure of. I will say no.
No. But, okay. Sally, you know, people have been asking me, I want to ask everyone on the panel, people have been asking me, what can you expect from a guy who was in the ZANU-PF all these years and has been following what has been happening, and he didn't say anything in there to try and help the suffering majority? Now, I'm saying, from my point of view, I see this as a sort of a positive. I think what's going to happen is, Mnangagwa knows that he is not popular out there. He's not daft. He knows that. He is not popular out there with the public. And what opportunity has he got now? I don't know when the elections are going to be to happen. I don't know. I might have to ask maybe they might explain to me and tell me otherwise, that can he actually postpone this election to give him some breathing space, you know, to put his feet under the table. I'm wondering here, this is a guy who knows that he's got no support out there, apart from maybe the Lacoste that he's got in the army, right? He would like to be seen to be doing things differently to Mugabe. You know,
yeah.
How refreshing can it be if he comes out and say, right, the police, you are not going to stop every Tom and Jerry in the street there to get money. Stop that. People can demonstrate in the street like what they did on Saturday, and no tear gas is given to people. This and that, this and that. And he said, we want foreign investment, we want this, right? Any diasporas coming from diaspora, wanema passport yekunze, if you are Zimbabwean, no visa for you and all that. He can actually turn things around. That's what I'm thinking in this, short period of time.
You see, it's something that I have, over the years, followed Mnangagwa very closely, because I have a completely different theory on him to what a lot of people do, I really never saw him as aspiring to become a president. I saw him as a vice president with somebody that he could control as the president, Now, I'm seeing a Mnangagwa that claims that he's born again, which is Magaya to me, And I'm seeing, before all this happened, I picked up a whisper, not from anybody, from my own digging, that he had been in contact with some international business guys, And I thought to myself, well, Fagabrik, what the H is going on here? Now he seems, maybe, Mnangagwa is a clever, corrupt ZANU-PF, which means you've got to feed the goose to get the golden egg, and you've got to keep the goose alive and give him enough food that you can have the golden egg, but you can also have a country running. This is what now I'm telling myself from the little bit that I've picked up here and there of this new Mnangagwa. I don't for 1 minute think he's new, but I think that part of him, in the sense of wanting Zimbabwe to be, I don't know if I can be as brave to say thriving, but wanting Zimbabwe to be working, That's the only part that gives me the tiniest bit of hope. The rest is, sweetheart, that guy is the one that was the author and the instigator of all the killings, the murders, the disappearances, the suffering of the country. And never once did he get up and say anything against what was going on. Now he's the savior of the nation. Sorry, I don't buy it.
Okay.
Don't buy it. Maybe he'll get the country off the ground. My fear is, this is my fear, that he'll be doing this thing of cleansing of the G40 thing and anybody else within that ZANU-PF thing, okay, that maybe stand up against him or something, but it's going to be very underground. It's not going to be, well, it's Mnangagwa that's doing it. It's going to be very underground to keep the international sweet, okay? This is my problem. I don't trust him, not for a millionth of a second.
Okay. All right, Sally. Thank you so much.
We'll see.
That's fine. Mukoma teacher maskera say?
Ndaskera mukoma sete maskera waimi.
Ko munononoka kuya kubasa kanjani?
Mabasa akawanda kandona namwe yacho.
Aiwa kani mamwe munombomisawo kani amuguti mari makaita sei? Now, Mukoma teacher, I know you are late. We are not going back to some of the questions that I asked people, but you just joined now. I'm just asking people in Inzwankuti. Now, we've got a new president that is going to be, put in situ tomorrow. Now, if elections are called on in July next year, do you see him winning it on a fair ground?
Fair is wishful thinking.
Okay.
Winning it, absolutely.
Absolutely?
100%.
Okay. Why do you say so?
Because the people that sponsor the coup will be the people that will sponsor ZANU-PF to succeed.
Who sponsored the coup?
Let me put it this way, Mkomasot. Mnangagwa will be so successful, so fast, the banks will have no queues, and commodities will generally be available, electricity you will take for granted, you'll start to see a bit of economic recovery. The problem with our people, they do not understand geopolitics. Right now, I have tried to tell you that China got the gold medal. The West, the United States and Europe got the silver and the bronze between them. The coup was already approved a long time ago. It was only a question of when it would be implemented, and Grace was the perfect fall guy for what happened. She was a bonus to something that, all the things that Grace said were true. That Mnangagwa was plotting to dethrone Mugabe. 100%. There's nothing she said that is not proven to be true. Everything that she said has become proven to be true. The only problem is that she wanted to do her own power grab and started her own little side show. At the end of the day, she undermined her husband. She must be feeling terrible right now. But if she had kept quiet and just stood where she was, Mnangagwa would have remained the VP. This would have been implemented more smoothly, more constitutionally and democratically. But the threat of Mugabe having been really swayed by his wife to want to really believe that Grace could become president is what caused this. But the ultimate was the attempt to arrest the commander of the defense forces on his return from China. That meant the plan had to now roll out. There was no reason to wait. Because if they waited, Mnangagwa could have been killed before anything happened. The CDF could have been arrested and faced very serious charges about the conspiracy, which was true that there was a conspiracy. So at the end of the day, vakatangirwa naMugabe, and vakomana ava vakatodzipakata zvakakwana. Don't even mislead yourselves. You can go, we can go. I don't like it. I actually resent Mnangagwa. He's not the most honest person you will ever find. He's very scheming, but he is going to get the economy going very quickly. It's not going to be going like we are all going to start making any ends meet, but international capital is going to come to take advantage. And I'll tell you again what I told you before. Britain is on Brexit, and it's redirecting its economy back to the nations of the Commonwealth. So it's going back to its colonies under the guise of Commonwealth cooperation, because it's a country that always needs to provide its services elsewhere, because Britain is a service economy and it's a capital venture economy, which means it operates the London Stock Exchange. It also operates the world's metal exchange. It's called the London Metal Exchange, whereby all the minerals are traded. So Britain will need to be able to have its companies like Rio Tinto still going out there and doing what it does. Companies like Anglo, Londro that are controlling Ashanti Gold are all going to be activated. So Britain has got a much more global economy than Europe on its own. And that is their fallback position. If they negotiate Brexit and the uncertainties that go with that, and European companies that are going to leave and the head office is moving, it's going to go there. And Mnangagwa is well positioned to receive British generosity at this time of British transition. And America will get the opportunity to extend its geopolitical power against China that had encroached all over Africa, dethroning both Britain and America in terms of political influence and economic influence. Zimbabwe is presenting them with the opportunity to have it go again at the crown of African economies of sub-Saharan Africa. Zimbabwe is the crown economy. Forget about South Africa. South Africa is well developed and all that, but Zimbabwe is the crown jewel. It's got raw materials that are completely untapped. You can see Makorokos are making money from nothing. They just got their pure artisan miners. They're making real money. Unfortunately, they sell to the big guys who make the real money. But that's the truth of the matter, that Zimbabwe still provides a lucrative multi-billion enterprise for Western countries.
All right. Mkoma teach. I just want to ask a simple question. Saka imurkuti Mnangagwa will win because vanhu kuZimbabwe, they will see a lot of turnaround in terms of going to the bank. They can get their money. People will have jobs and they can feed their families, which people are asking for.
That's not only that, right now, if you look at it, BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera were all invited to the party well before anything unraveled. Yes. Everyone already knew what was happening. So this has happened before. When Tsvangirai was poised to beat ZANU-PF, they all came, and then they were all chucked out, because Mugabe was in power and Tsvangirai was not. Right now, Mnangagwa has the advantage that the generals made sure that he was in power. If you look at like Asi Lumumba saying as soon as Mnangagwa was fired, he chased away. Asi Lumumba said he has become the most powerful man. Now if you look at the background of the people that have been working at the moment in the country, you will see that the CIO has ended up being sidelined to the point that the director of the CIO, Bonyongo, was now traveling with the president doing intelligence work. In the end of the day, military intelligence took over CIO operations. So military intelligence was running more of the intelligence networks of the country than the CIO, which was now more concerned with preserving the person of Mugabe and the Greys. They spent so much time focusing. So the situation that we have is that Western soft power, which is their media, are already now sanitizing Mnangagwa. Or he's the man who can keep Zimbabwe okay, he can keep things under control. That's what they're now saying. Yes, people can look past his past genocide, whatever, because the country needs to transition and move forward as they themselves are now doing transitioning from Mugabe. So at the end of the day, Mnangagwa has done exactly what Robin Cook said when Robin Cook. Let me just finish this so that I drop off. Robin Cook said to Sten Mutenge, Sten, if you do not get rid of Robert Mugabe, the thing that we are going to do to you will end up with the people of Zimbabwe throwing stones at you in the street. Chester Crocker, who was the Secretary for African Affairs in America at the time, said to the Senate in America, you have to pass this particular piece of legislation to make sure that we make their economy scream until they want to beat up their leaders. And that's what Chester Crocker said at the same time that Robin Cook was saying. You must always remember that Britain, Canada, France, Germany, and of course the USA and Australia are the people that hold the main directorship, executive directorship of the IMF and the World Bank and the International Finance Corporation, the FC, where Mchuma Mawere was working and he was able to come and buy from the Tenor brothers, Shabani Mine and Mashaba. And so you have to understand geopolitics. That's a problem in Zimbabwe, that people don't understand what's going on. They think this is it. The coup was sponsored. It's not, you don't do that for free, for nothing, without the international assurances. You can see, right, Mnangagwa already was told to go and meet Zuma. Zuma had already been told by other international powers to meet him before he's been inaugurated. You are still a coup leader. But Zuma, chairman of SADC, which opposes coups, and the African Union, were already speaking positively about the changes. Yes, just yesterday, they were giving accolades to Mugabe, even making him for the third time chairman of the African Union, etc. So this is the situation whereby Mnangagwa can't lose, not because the opposition is bad, but Tirpanguva a transition both in the West and also in our own country, because it's an opportunity for everyone.
All right, okay. Aiwa, thank you so much Mkoma Teach for clarifying one or two things there. Rekaendende kune vamwe vasati vambotaura vadzokora Chief Sose, welcome to the show. Happy Thanksgiving to you there.
Makadi DJ Sodza, makadi muri yeZimbabwe. Nayo kunotongotenda Mwari nezvavakatiitira kuZimbabwe kuindependence yedu. Ndo vanati independence ndakaisa tuma quotation mark, asi tirongotenda. Your Thanksgiving yacho, we thank the Lord for everything that he has done in Zimbabwe thus far.
Mukoma, I know kuti ndabvunza mamwe questions akawanda before you came in, but I just want you to ask the question that I am at now. Kuti, if elections are called up in July next year to Zimbabwe, is Mnangagwa capable of winning it freely on the ground?
I mean, the sentiment that you are seeing even on social media, it tells you that Mnangagwa is not a popular figure. Yes, there are people in business, there are maybe some members in the international community and regional community who respect him. They say for his business acumen, but we all know that there is nothing that you can call business acumen on Mnangagwa's success in business, because it's all looted money, it's all looted businesses, and they have done well because he uses other people as proxies. I don't think he has any business that he has run on his own that has been a success to the extent that they give him the credit that they give him. So the long and short of it is Mnangagwa cannot win an election in Zimbabwe. And as we go forward, we are going to see Mnangagwa becoming the Mnangagwa that we've always been talking about, that he is Mugabe 2.0. He is a photocopy of Mugabe. You know, as I'm speaking right now, there are students who have been arrested. We also heard that Micah Square has been abducted. I mean, people are being harassed as we speak, but we don't hear anything about it, because I talk to journalists in Zimbabwe myself, on a daily basis. They've been given warning by soldiers. They've been given warnings by CIOs that you cannot write about this, you cannot talk about this. That's the reason why, even up to today, we haven't seen anything bad that has been reported about that coup. It's called, they're calling it a bloodless coup, but there are people who died. The bodyguards to Chombo were killed. There are people who were beaten up severely. Even now, we are seeing people from G40 being targeted by, obviously, Lacosta people. And no one is saying anything about them. I don't support what those people were doing. But at the same time, I also don't support people who take law into their own hands, and go and harass people the way they are harassing them. And then the unfortunate part of it, the head of that faction, or who is now the head of our government and the president of our country, is doing nothing to stop that. We expected him in his maiden speech, to denounce violence, to extend a fig leaf to all the people in Zimbabwe, to say, let's unite Zimbabweans. The same way the people united when they went to the Zimbabwe grounds. At the Zimbabwe grounds, there were people from Atebeleland, there were white people, there were Shona people, but the speech that we all heard from Mnangagwa, it wasn't conciliatory in any way. He even ended up speaking in Shona, as if he was addressing Shona people, as if he was addressing his rally in Chendambuya or somewhere in the rural areas where the majority are Shona speaking. That just shows you what we are going to be getting ourselves into shortly. And I'll answer your question again. Mnangagwa will not win a free and fair election. And as we go forward as opposition, we have to start putting pressure on him so that he begin right now. He knows right now that we need free, fair, and credible election. And for us to get that, we need to push for electoral reform. That should be our main demand right now. And I can tell you right now that I don't see that happening. We might not get that. But if we don't get that, let's hit Shirino Waitamara. Let's stop in the street Izrozi. The international community that there is no difference between Mugabe and Mnangagwa. In fact, Mnangagwa is even a worse devil.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Sakaimi Murgutara kuti aiwa Mnangagwa will be beaten all hands up if elections were called. Now, regarding the Wapepe, you've heard what Mkoma Teach thought and what Chief Sose thought about it. What's your thinking there? Without, I know Kutimurwe MDC, but talking rationally, do you think trying to explain to someone who is not into politics why you would say, like what Mkoma Teach has done, saying that things are going to be better in Zimbabwe, that will lure the voters to vote for him? Because if I didn't have a job and suddenly I've got a job, I can manage to buy bread for my kids, I'm likely to go and vote for that person.
Look, in a free and fair elections, Mnangagwa is absolutely no chance for the reason that Mnangagwa himself hana grassroots, and I don't want to revisit. We know, for the past 10-15 years in terms of kukweke kwako, even at a constituency level, and I think I saw address yake yesterday. It was very unfortunate. But he seems to have been carried away. Grace, never wakaona. But look, there's so much expectation by Zimbabweans, given scenario ilipo, and they thought he's going to come as a unifying figure. But I think people have started critically analyzing, and I know kuti teacher ambotaura nyaya kuti he's got to spin the economy. There will be a lot of investors coming to Zimbabwe because Mnangagwa. Look, those are just speculations. I would like to give you concrete evidence that actually is proof that that is not the case. Firstly, I don't know whether you remember Boris Johnson, who is the Foreign Secretary Kunok.
Yeah.
He actually called for a departure from the tyrant. In other words, there must be reforms, meaningful reforms to democracy, restoration back to the rule of law. And he made it very clear. And then he said, if that is the case, yes, we will be able to support all my ambassadors are in Zimbabwe, my foreign ambassadors, met, and they actually came with a communique which was also delivered to ZANU-PF and to the military, that what they want to see is an inclusive process that actually put in place a framework, a free and fair elections. And look at it, these are the ambassadors representing their countries in terms of investors from their countries. And they are putting cards on the table that this is what needs to be done. And not only that, we've seen the elders. I don't know whether you've seen a statement. Kofi Annan.
Seen that, yeah. It's also point to the direction. You could see this is the period that Zimbabwe must turn into a new leaf. That we need to decolonize this, toxic politics of violence. Now, if Mnangagwa goes, if Agata build on Mugabe in terms of my systems, Aripo is ZANU-PF. Because we have arrived at where we are now because Yema system is his son. If he's going to continue and disregard all this, he has no chance of attracting investors. And for your information, today the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange has lost $6 billion US, right? Now, that is a lack of confidence in the incumbent, right? Based on, it might be that his speech triggered that panic. And mind you, these are the investors from outside the country who are withdrawing their money until they are convinced that status quo is going to change. So, yes, those are speculations, and I can assure you that it depends. The next few days are very important for Mnangagwa. If he doesn't play the cards right, and it depends, a leader is as good as the people who advise the leader. Yeah.
Akatanga kwa advise na Esimu Lumumba, Nana Patrick Sinamasa, that's it. He's a goner. So that's my contribution.
That's your contribution. Thank you so much, Vapepe, for that. Rekaindi nzwe kuna wachangu tipata walipa line rinopera na 008. Hello?
Yes, hey DJ Sodza,
Yeah, I'm fine. Happy Thanksgiving to you there.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Mbosorola, from these hectic jobs.
Have you had your turkey yet?
I'm celebrating, but with mixed feelings, DJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was really happy, of course, Mugabe Paka, resigner, and so forth, because I was like, this is the first start for our country, and we can begin to revive economy. But the incumbent president, Pawakapa's speech, DJ, I wasn't very happy, I thought he was going to come more with a message in line unity, developing our economy, although he did mention developing the economy and everything. But I wasn't happy about the fact that he ended up going back to the whole poisoning thing and
okay, let's not beat about the bush. Pakati pasna manto. Do pamsina kufarire.
It seemed as if there was still some vengeance there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I expected him to be more unifying, more moving past that, and focusing more on developing Zimbabwe, Maona. And I wasn't, because it made it seem like it was just a party thing, a ZANU-PF thing, and not really about the people, because when people marched, it wasn't just ZANU-PF supporters. It was everybody, everyone, whether they were MDC, whether they didn't support any party like Inini. They were there on the street for their Zimbabwe, for their country. So zvakakundipa mixed feelings izvozvo, and going forward I'm not sure what to expect. Although I am optimistic. I'm optimistic because at least it wasn't like speech aggressive, which is 100% focused on vengeance and nothing about developing the country. At least he did mention development, and he did mention investment.
All right,
so
Tete.
I'm optimistic.
Tete, I've got a question for you, a simple question for you. In your opinion, come July next year, which is what, about 7-8 months time, if the elections are called for in Zimbabwe and it's free and fair, do you think Mnangagwa can win it outright?
I think he can win it because given the way people were supporting him, DJ, even during speech, I wasn't too happy about. They were actually saying the words themselves, not allowing him to finish his sentence. They were finishing the sentence for him. So given the support that he has right now, I think that, and I think that he'll win if they're fair. Even if they're fair, I think that he'll win.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Let's hear from others. Sekuru, the consensus I'm hearing here that really he can win. Mukoma teacher's got his vision that he's gonna get all sorts of financial support and everything from things like Britain and stuff like that, and then the people will be happy in the meantime, so they'll go and vote for him. But vamwe vari kuti hanzi no atorine support paari kuti pasine mhandu and vanhu vanongohwauta and backing and stuff like that. I thought that was rhetoric which shouldn't be, a president coming in shouldn't be talking about. But anyway, Imimi Sekuru, what do you think? Do you think he can win in a free and fair election come July fairly?
I don't want to mince my words. Mnangagwa cannot win a free and fair election. Neither can he win. Neither can he win an election unfree and unfair. Except there's only one caveat on that. Except through rigging.
Right.
There is no way Mnangagwa can win the whole country's elections when he could not win Kwekwe constituency. It's just not on. The second thing is this myth that he has got connections with the business. The business population in Zimbabwe is 0.00009% of the population. They won't win him in election. The people who vote are the poor. The people who do not care about business. They care about who is at the top there. They care about food. They don't care about he has brought money. Assuming he can bring in money. Mnangagwa has traversed the whole of this globe looking for money for ZANU-PF. He has raised quite a substantial amount of money for ZANU-PF, but not for the country. How much money is his mega deals with China, with Turkey, yielded for Zimbabwe? Zilch. If anybody has benefited from those mega deals because they were reported, then he can win. The assumption that there is going to be a pouring in of money from international donors is another myth. The international donors do not pour in money unless they are assured what they want will materialize. If Mnangagwa gets any money, it will be because he will have sold the country to that particular country that donates. And that won't sit well with the army, that won't sit well with the war veterans. The other thing is, Mnangagwa himself has got nothing, absolutely nothing new to sell to the people of Zimbabwe. Unless he sells the MDC policies. Now, if he does that, who will he be promoting? The MDC, of course. Because if he now moves away, like he has already started saying, we want international investment. I was watching with Tangwa saying, we are talking to the white farmers and whatever, to bring them back because they are Zimbabweans. The people will say, what are they talking about? I thought we will never be a colony again. These are issues, the conflict of policy direction in ZANU is such a big volte-face on his part that it is impossible for him to make it attractive to the people. Even if he says what the MDC is saying, the people will still question. Why is he saying the very things that he was saying no to only 2 months ago? So in my view, the voting will have nothing to do with whether there is money or not. The voting will be on the question of, is Mnangagwa electable as a national president? He is not.
He is
not. He is not.
Regardless of what he does in the next 6-7 months?
It doesn't matter what he does. Is he electable? Just think of the people of Matabele and putting a vote on Mnangagwa. How will they feel?
Right. Okay.
Just think of the people of Mashonaland West putting a vote on Mnangagwa. How will they feel after what he has done to Mugabe? Think of the people of Mashonaland Central. How would they feel when they think about what he did to Maimchuru?
Sekuru, you are now going deeper. You are saying the Matabeleland people will not vote for him because of what he did in the Gukurabundi.
Yes.
The Mashonaland Central, where Mugabe has got power there, they won't vote for him because they absolutely kick him out of office.
No, they won't.
Kwamai Mujuru, they want to see him because he came out achiti wana runaidi wana wane zuro.
True. So what is he going to pick? He's going to pick his votes from Masvingo and pick his votes from Midlands. Will that win him an election?
Right. Hey. Pane basa. Regaiti nzwa kuna mkoma Benford warikuti iwo Mnangagwa is shoe in to win this election, even if he doesn't do anything of note in the next 6 or 7 months. Mkoma Benford, take it away.
Here's the thing, DJ Sodza. Now, to win an election in Zimbabwe, you need to win the rural vote. Now, our rural people to realize that Mnangagwa has the support of the army. Sooner or later, is going to have the support of the war veterans. And with those two supporting him, there's no way you can win the rural vote.
Even kumshapa Mugabe.
DJ Sodza. I know people have been saying Mnangagwa was losing at constitution level. They also forget that Changirai once lost to Kennedy Manyonda Kubohera.
No, he did not. He lost. No, he did not. That election was nullified by the High Court.
He lost. That's
no.
Okay.
If you are going to argue on Changirai, let's leave that for another day, Benford. Because if you bring in Changirai, we will defend him. No, he never lost an election.
This is where it becomes a problem, because when you are talking to
because we don't tell lies. We don't tell lies.
Okay, Changirai lost.
He did it.
Now, Zimbabwe it all depends on how Mnangagwa is going to approach this thing. If, for example, Mangwana, when he is going to announce his new cabinet and stuff like that, if you brings in somebody like Dumiso Dawengwa in his new government, then the opposition can as well kiss goodbye to Matabeleland. And all the Gukura wind worries, the one that will be gone. Another thing, Trish, don't worry about Mnangagwa's speech. You have to consider the audience. You are speaking at ZANU-PF headquarters, addressing ZANU-PF supporters. A speech that is going to give tomorrow on his inauguration, your speech that matters. That is the speech the stock market yadi. That is expected. As an investor, you have to be cautious. You don't know the direction that the country is going to take tomorrow. So after Mnangagwa has given his inaugural speech, we will see how the stock market will respond. We will see how the international community will respond. That will be a defining moment. Direction China Nika. Otherwise, at the moment, everybody is speculating. Can an investor? It makes sense that today I take my money. But after tomorrow, which is where I agree now, Namkoma teach because the mess in Zimbabwe, Yanga is Singaiti. It's so easy for Mnangagwa to become a hero. Just imagine if within the next 2-3 months, people can walk into a bank and get their money. Personal queues, how people would think. So it's easier for Mnangagwa to win an election in 2018 unless if nothing on the ground changes at all. So that is why I think, and people don't have confidence on the opposition either. So the opposition as it is, people have no confidence now. Mnangagwa can bring any sort of change. People go with him. And for that reason, I think even if you ask the United Nations to run by elections in 2018, from voter registration to anything, I think Mnangagwa will win.
Okay. Ayuwa, well said, Mkoma Benford. Thank you so much. Tenoma Zulu, I want to come to you. Kujemenuku. Muripo era.
Chiripo.
Yes, thank you so much, Teteloma Zulu. Today you are impeccable. Impeccable. I'm going to give you a trophy. Tete, tell me, what do you think, what do you foresee come July next year and Mnangagwa calls for election? Because remember, he is an unelected president. If he gets in tomorrow, so he would want to have the mandate of Zimbabwean people. He will call for an election to cement his position as the president. And you can hear what other people are saying here. There's a division here. Some are saying he's got absolutely no chance of winning that election. Some are saying absolutely, definitely he's going to win. Where are you? Are you going to sit on the fence?
Well, I think I'm going to sit on the fence. First of all, I am going to say, Kuti, since MDCT is not going for this NTA, then it simply means that we are going for elections come 2018. So, because if MDCT went along with this NTA that Mnangagwa was suggesting, or that Mtranga was suggesting, then it would have meant Kuti, we are going to go for 5 years without any elections. They were going to postpone those elections, And Mnangagwa, and I am sure Kuti Mangwana's speech yake is going to highlight Kuti, no, because there is so much, that has happened during these past 12 months, let's postpone the elections. This is my fear. And then, well, my hope is that MDCT, I hope they stay with it because MDCT is very shaky. They are saying one thing and then they are saying the other thing. They are very weak as an opposition. So let's assume that they will we are going for elections 2018. And the opposition, they have got a new leader, not Trankrai, because Trankrai is seriously ill. You can tell even by Kutaura Pake, so the man is not well. But if they got somebody who is vibrant from now until 2018, August, where we are going to go for elections, I do not see how Mnangagwa is going to win my election. That man is not electable. Not at all. Be it Kublawayo, Kumatepeleland or Midlands, be it Mashonda and Central, be it Kumanikaland, Mnangagwa is known for his,
Tete.
Yeah.
If you are, I know you are in Germany yourself. If you are in Zimbabwe, me, I travel to Zimbabwe every year. Now, if you go there, if you were living in Zimbabwe and you've got $2,000 in the bank and you want to go and withdraw $50 to take your family out for dinner or something like that, but you want cash, you're not going to pay by card there, you want cash. You go to the bank, you want to withdraw $50 and you are told there is no money. Then suddenly, Mnangagwa is taken over, you go to the bank, you want $2,000, they give you your cash. You want that, someone, Angaru Chakabasa, he's got a job now. Do you think those people are not going to vote for him?
Are you sure? Are you sure, Mkoba?
No, I'm just saying if that happens. That happens.
No. Are you sure as from now until August? Mnangagwa achaita mapesa rima, yeah, to give employment to 95% unemployed people. Are you sure about that? It hasn't happened to Germany, kuno. Are you sure it's going to happen to Germany?
No, I know it's impossible, Tete, but you can see what happened in the unity government 2008 to 2013. People are still talking about it. That really things were very good then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but who did they vote for then after having the good time?
Vaka voterani. Ask that again. No?
Right. Okay.
You know,
so,
the thing is this. Mnangagwa will win only by, he has got everything. And the army, yeah, they've been rigging all along. Vaka rig up 2008, Vaka rig up 2013. They will rig again to 2018.
That I can accept. That I can accept.
And Mnangagwa was the one that instigated the rigging, that carried out the rigging, that authored the rigging, whatever you want to call it. So I mean, now you've got the rigger.
He's called the butcher.
Okay, Saka Tete Murguti Mimi, he is not electable, but the only way he can win is by rigging, right?
Absolutely.
So regardless of how good he performs in the next 5-6 months, it doesn't matter. He is unelectable. That's what you are telling me.
Reputation of Mnangagwa is just too bad. You know, we can talk about his connections in the World Bank, in the United Kingdom. You can talk all about his geopolitical connections, but they are not the people who are going to vote for Mnangagwa come elections.
Right.
It's not the World Bank. Hazi Lagash, Christina Lagash, who is going to vote for him, It's we, the poor people, who are going to vote. And we need to see us from now until him now, and it's just too late for him. It's just too late. And thank God they are saying we are going to go it alone. And thank God MDCT is not making that mistake yavakaita muna 2009. Kuti vanhingirigire vapinde mu-GNU and they give Ningi ZANU a lifeline again kuti vafeme, you know, for another 5 years. And not only that, my brother, you know, hakuna reforms, electoral reforms on the ground. Yeah. Do we sincerely think Kuti Mnangagwa, with all his power hungriness, is going to implement my reforms so that he gets out? Because implementing reforms simply means taking ZANU out of power. So he will make sure that those reforms are not implemented. No problem, you are now. You know?
All right. Okay. Tete, thank you so much. I want everyone to participate in the next question. Tete, I think, hang on a minute, what time are we now? 3 minutes. Can you tell me in brief what you would like to hear from Emmerson Mnangagwa tomorrow when he gets onto the podium at the National Sports Stadium?
Certainly, as somebody who comes from Matipeleland. It's not that I'm Ndebele myself. I'm not Ndebele. Yeah. Despite the fact that I'm Nomazulu, by name. Yeah. I'm from San. I'm a San person. I'm, somebody, they call us Bushman people,
Yes.
San, S-A-N. Yeah. What I would like to hear from Nangagwa tomorrow, I would like him to address Kukuraundi atrocities. And then I would like him to say, I'm sorry about what happened. I'm going to live with that very, very well. Because I am very upbeat about that.
Okay. Tete Mazwa Kasimba amuri kutaurayo. Whether he is going to address that or not, I don't know. But thank you so much. Regai ntiende pane vachangotibatawo. Hello paZimnet Radio.
Hello, maswera sei.
Aiwa tinofara makadiko atete.
Tipo makadini.
Chimbodzimai radio bijana.
Yeah. Maidzima.
Right, watete muri kutibata muri kupi?
Tiri ku Belgium.
Ku Belgium, kuri sei ku Belgium nasi?
Kunenge kuri nani zvako.
Makugona ere kutaura chi-French?
Chi-Dutch.
Chi-Dutch. Oh, munotaura chi-Dutch. It's Dutch and French, isn't it, in Belgium?
It's Dutch and French and German.
In Germany, okay. Now, Tete, it's serious business here. I know probably maybe you've been listening all along. And but what would you like to hear from Emerson Mnangagwa tomorrow when he delivers his inauguration speech? But I don't know if you wanted to comment on something that we've discussed before. Please go ahead.
Ndakandichida hangu kukomenda pamanga muchibvunza kuti zvoni munofunga kuti Mnangagwa achawina here next elections.
Yes.
Ipapo question iyoyo iri very tricky. Iri very tricky in a way yekuti like zvawakastaja that this coup and whatever and being successful kupitsa Mugabe. It moved a lot of people. It's very, very, very difficult to convince people now that this guy is a bad guy.
Right.
Like, take for example, makanzo kuti unemployment is 90%. Mukatarisa pamaphotos or mavideos ese aitumirwa mukaona kuti vaifarira vaya vachipembera, which age groups are they?
Young people.
I was really paying attention. Andina kumboona vanhu vechikuru pane vanhu vese vaifara vaya vaipembera vakawandisa. But they were all, ages I can say 19, 20, going all the way to probably 35. They don't have jobs. They are seeing right now as Mnangagwa their way of, getting something better. As far as I'm concerned. Possibly, popotenda kumamisha. It might be that people kumamisha maybe they might be confused kuti who is this guy now coming wanga wajaira Mugabe, but kumamisha ZANU-PF yagara ichingovina.
So Tete muri kuntaura kuti kumamisha whether maisa gudo kana kuti maisa kitsi pakanzi ZANU-PF, that's where they are going to vote for.
Because the opposition havana tangible, havana kana strong arguments, havanaita kana kuti vanga kune vanhu, this is the way we are going to lead if we come in power. Right now, my elections are next year. So far, hapana kana tambo taka kukampena. Ene kana iri MDC Tsvangirai is overstayed. It's time for him to go. Kana wachida kuti party irambe ichita moving on.
Right. Aiwa Tete mashoko anodakadza chose amuri kutaura. So andisikuziva kuti mune mashoko mairi here amungada kunditaurira kuti munoda kuti vaMnangagwa vataure kuti chiiko mangwana.
Inini hangu, to be honest with you, I don't like the guy. So
whatever he's going to say, you don't like him?
No, I don't think he's going to say anything that can move me. Because his past, he is a very, very, very dark past.
Tete,
I can't move away from it.
Tete, if you were in Zimbabwe in July and there is a general election there and you go and cast your vote, where would you cast your vote?
Probably I will just have that spoiled paper because there is nobody who is convincing. There is nobody who has convinced me so far that can bring something to people.
So you'd rather.
Yeah, because like what you see, like what I can see right now, like is Mnangagwa, Chiwenga, they are just protecting their assets. There is no talking and the best interest in the nation. So that's the problem.
So
I have to protect someone's assets, and yet I don't have to.
So in my conviction, I'm not going to convince you.
They are there for the nation, not for themselves.
I see. Okay, that is
all right. Aiwa, ndatenda hangu Tete nekuteerera kwamaita. Munogara muchiteerera chirongwa here kwenyu?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay. Thank you so much, Tete, for that. For your listenership, we value it very well here. Rekaindende pana mkoma Chief Sose. Chief Sose, are you there?
The report DJ.
Chief Sose, in 2 minutes ndiudzeiwo kuti zvizva mungade kuti vaMnangagwa vabude papodium vachitaura mangwana to try and convince you. I know that you don't like the man.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I would want Mnangagwa to say tomorrow that I know you never say. I want him to come out in the open and take responsibility for his role in Matabeleland for the massacre of 20,000 people.
Right.
We want to hear him saying, I'm sorry for what I did. But we will never hear him say that. We also want him to hear him say, I'm sorry for the role that I played in destroying the country. Mugabe is gone. But it wasn't only Mugabe who destroyed the country. It wasn't only Mugabe who was looting in Zimbabwe. So we want to hear him take responsibility and apologize. As much as we were saying Kunamaya Mjuru, she should take responsibility and apologize for what she did in the past 30-something years. Let's also hold Mnangagwa responsible. He must come out in the open and be conciliatory and speak, a speech of unity. And at the same time, and above all, taking responsibility for his role. Because irungori mbavha saMugabe, irungori mhondi saMugabe. Hapana zvakasiyana. Ngaakumbire ruregerero kune vana veZimbabwe pane zvaakaita.
Aiwa. Mashoko are very, very deep. Amur kutaura Chief Sose. Thank you for that. Mukoma Teach, what would you like to see the incoming president say tomorrow? Mukoma Teach, are you still there? Oh, nai baba wangu chirandi. Tete. Vapepe, what would you like to hear the incoming president say tomorrow?
I think firstly it's an acceptance that things are not well, and that we have arrived here because of ZANU-PF incompetence. Secondly, that he will start a dialogue with all stakeholders to return the country to normalcy, return the rule of law, which is very important, and also in terms of fully implement the constitution as was mandated by the people of Zimbabwe, and agree on a roadmap to the elections, to free fair elections. I think that will go a long way.
That will go a long way.
Can I ask please?
Yeah.
Dr. Favorite, I know.
Yeah.
You are saying kuti asking my stakeholders kuti vaite NTA.
No, a dialogue to come up with the implementation of the constitution does not necessarily mean a TNA.
Okay.
But what I was saying is maybe some committees that will oversee and supervise certain functions of the implementation of the constitution.
Okay.
And to the rule of law.
Okay.
And then what are you saying as MDCT regarding free and fair elections? What are you going to do about it?
Well, firstly and foremost, we have been very clear to say we have identified that certain provision of the Constitution, that the 2013 Constitution have not been implemented, but in a way ZANU-PF have been cherry-picking them. So we want a wholesome implementation of the new Constitution, the abolishment of AIPA and POSA, because those provisions they are from the old Constitution, and ZANU-PF are keeping them for their own good use. So we want that to go, so that we've got freedom of expression, freedom of association, and the access to media. Although, I mean, now with the social media, access to media is more than a norm.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sally? Sally?
Yes, DJ Sodza.
I thought maybe you decided to go into bed with Mkoma Teach there.
Hey. You'd know if I was there with Titch. The bloody world would blow up, okay?
Nah, it's good to hear that you are still with us here, Sally. What would you like Mnangagwa to say tomorrow to try and convince you?
There is nothing that man can say that I will ever believe.
Right.
So he can tell me that the sky is blue and it could be blue, and I'd still go and ask 100 people if it was blue. There is nothing he can say. My thing is, I want actions. I don't want words. I want actions. And then I can tell you whether he's changed or not. And I want to say something quickly. On how Titch put it over and how I'm seeing the young people all worshipping Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. Mnangagwa will win hands down. The way the young people are going, it blew my mind.
Exactly.
But Sally, do these young people go and vote? Do these young people go and vote? Because I've got a conspiracy here that these young people that don't vote is the old majority that votes.
Listen to me. Now listen to me about this, okay? The opposition party has mainly been MDC. And Sekuru, I'm not attacking you, okay? Please. All right? The opposition party has mainly been MDC. The same person has been representing, the same face of the party has been for, I don't know how many donkey's years, okay?
Coming to 20.
People are tired.
Exactly, yeah.
And Mnangagwa, do you know something? Even with the people back home, okay, the young people back home that I deal with, I tell them, but this and this and this and this. They say, no, you've got to give the man a chance. He's our hope. He's our this. I mean, if Chiwenga became president, forget it. The man they first made him into a god. Now they've put Mnangagwa with him, and now you've got two gods. Okay? And they are the savior. As far as they are the two saviors as far as as the young people are concerned. And there is nothing that you can say. I blame the elderly, politically wise people for this situation. I blame them completely. Because our young people have never, ever, ever been allowed to step out and try. The minute they step out and try, the political, elderly, knowledgeable, big heads, okay, come and squash them. They're connected to this one, or what are they doing? They shouldn't be doing that. Instead of taking these young people and listening to them and learning from them, no, the old people want to, they want to stand. Now we've ended up with this. Now we've got a man that has got more blood on his hands than a mortuary.
Right.
Okay? So,
right. Okay.
The way that young people are showing me today, okay, is that Mnangagwa will win hands down.
All right, Sally. Thank you so much. Tete Trishi kwa America huku. What would you like Mnangagwa to say tomorrow? Tete Trishi muripo era. Right.
Hello, DJ. Okay, I would want to hear him speak on how he plans on developing Zimbabwe. I don't want to hear anything about Party, Kukura, and so forth. I want to hear his plan going forward. How is he going to improve our dilapidated healthcare system? How is he going to improve Zvikoro Zvedu? How is he going to improve? How is he going to deal with the issue in my bank? How is he going to deal with that? He needs to give us my plans. My plans are now going forward to improve those things. So that's what I expect here. I also expect. I know that this is really wishful thinking. I'm not sure. I really don't think that it will happen, but I would like for him to also give a public apology regarding the Matabeleland disturbances between 1983 and 1987. I think it's very important for the people of Matabeleland to get closure on that. So that's another thing that I'm hoping he will mention in his speech.
All right. Thank you so much. Stay where you are. Sekuru, what would you like Mnangagwa to say tomorrow? Okay.
And I would like to hear Mnangagwa tell us in all these years, by elections, now izvozvi zvaapinzwa nearmy, what is his thoughts about the army interfering in politics? If he can tell us, I want to tell the army today that this is the first and last that they should be involved in politics.
Seguro, do you really think he can say that?
No. I am saying
the next thing is out.
I'm serious. If he can do that, I will vote for you.
Seguro, that's even me, a novice in politics. I doubt Seguro that munakupinza basa. Oh, timutichiregera zvokuita izvo.
That is exactly what I'm saying, to show you how unelectable he is. Because akakwanisa kuzviita izvozvo that unite the whole nation and say sure tave napresident manje, because now we don't fear the army kuti inozotidisa president watoita saruti.
Mazvinzwira ruzhinji rwezimbabwe kwanzi nasekuru waMnangagwa vanofana kuenda papodium motaura kuti chiwenga nemasoja ako ibvai machera kagomba muti puu korokoro, never again will there be a coup in Zimbabwe.
Then we know that we've got a powerful president. We know that we've got a principled president. It doesn't matter. The principle, the issues are what matters. The issues. Do we want the army to determine our leader, or do we want to determine our own leader?
Right. Okay. So
That is more than wishful thinking.
All right,
okay.
Sally, please
that
hold.
means that Father Christmas really does
Isn't
exist.
it, was that not the question, Sally? That was the question. The question was what to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. Okay. Please hold. Mkoma Benford. Mkoma Benford, are you? Yes, Mkoma Benford. What would you like to hear the men say tomorrow?
Ndinoda kunzwa vamunangagwa vachitepa speech inounifya nyika. I'm hoping he's going to present himself as a president for the whole country, not just for ZANU-PF. No, that is the first thing. I would expect him in his speech kuti vatitaridze kuti we want to normalize our relations with all countries in the world, which would include even bring the country back to the Commonwealth as a starting point here engagement here in Western countries. If we can go back to the Commonwealth where Mugabe had pulled us out, you'll be showing that he's also distinguishing himself from Mugabe politics. And then I would also want to hear him emphasize nyaye kutastika to the constitution and zero tolerance to corruption. Starting Nema Purisa, Nema government ministers themselves. Those are some of the things I would expect to hear from his speech. One thing, DJ Sodza, I differ. People are not going to you should say good apologize for Gugura window or what happened in Machiavellian. I differ with that. You should not take that that approach. At best, the person who is answerable is Mugabe.
He apologized. Mugabe apologized.
Say to Mangwana, I'm different.
Mugabe apologized.
Mugabe was a dictator, and therefore all of us were takataza to respond to the dictator. And then he bring himself as a new person. But that is what I expect to hear from him.
Okay, all right.
But he can't because he was part of the system, isn't he?
Right. Okay. Batai Makadaro.
What's so special about Mnangagwa? Why can't he apologize?
Right. No, Shibatai Makadaro. Shibatai Makadaro. Regainti daiso. Zvandakuita panapa ndezvo daiso. Vapepe.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the vice president?
Difficult to say. I don't see Mpoko Vachimudzorera. I think
Mpoko is gone, isn't he?
Yeah, but with the ZANU-PF, you never know. I see maybe they might put in Kayamon.
Okay, all right. Sekuru. Sekuru. Yeah, that's Sekuru. Who do you think is going to be the vice president come tomorrow?
Vice president pane vanhu vakawanda asi mukuru wavo unenge ari Chiwenga. Chiwenga anenge ari vice president background.
Okay. But ndiani watichataurirwa kuti ndiye vice?
Ndinofungidzira kuti mungangotaurirwa kunzi ndiye ave vice president anogona kunge ari munhu wekumatebhelerend anonzi Dhumiso Davengwa. Pakati paDhumiso Davengwa nouyu unonzi Kembo Mohadu. Ndinenge ndinoona panenge pane mumwe uchapinda ipapa.
Aiwa.
Asi kumadzimai uku handinyatsoziva kuti mai mutsvangwa ava nezvakaita murume wavo havadero vagogodza kusvika padhuze.
All right. Zvakanaka Isekuru. Tete kuGermany uko. Who do you think is going to be vice there?
Well, I think General Chiwenga is going to be vice.
Okay.
And it will be very difficult for us if Dabengo accepted vice president, that would be very difficult for the people from Matabeleland and Midlands. And I heard him speaking today or yesterday. He was critically talking about Mnangagwa, and I doubted, as from today, I doubted whether he was going to take that presidency. Before, I thought he was, because somehow or other, Dabengo seems to be unpredictable and desperate to be in the gravy train. You know, without our knowledge, I have got this feeling that he could have just jumped in and be part of it. But I am curious to know who is going to be the vice president.
All right, Tete.
Yeah.
All right, Tete, thank you. Ku South Africa, uku. Tete Sali, what do you think?
Chiwenga or Dabengo?
All right. Mkoma Belford.
I think we might see either Kembo Mohadi or Obed Mpo.
I was going to say that.
Tete Trish ku America uku.
Yeah, DJ, before I say who, I'm glad my predictions came true. They predict that she last week, DJ. Next 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Dabengo as his vice, and that is still where I stand today.
Ah, fabulous. Thank you so much. Kotete ku Belgium, what do you think?
Ndofunga kuti Dumiso Dabengo ndiye achaita ngene vice. Kana achinge aramba, but they will, I think they will try to find someone wekumatabeleland anyway.
To put there. Okay.
DJ, kana Dumiso akaramba panopinda Chiwenga.
All right.
Chiwenga, I don't think so.
He's a service soldier. I think I go background. Dear President,
yeah, that's the thing. Okay.
This is vital. Okay.
Chief Social.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. That's what I wanted to say. In fact, never. I'm not going to pin up our vice president. No, we can't do anything about it.
Chief Social.
I think they are not you.
Koma pinda pa video Chief Social.
Kona pa video save.
Ameno kama hapa video. Aha, mabisa man. Mabisa man.
Right, Obed Mpofu, Imbaba Wombe, I don't think the Mnangagwa would want to be. Because Dabengo is very divisive and is not wanted in Matabeleland. So I think Kembo Mohadi, and on the women's side, the most senior right now is Opam Chunguri. So it's Opam Chunguri and Kembo Mohadi. He won't touch Chiwenga because Chiwenga, there's no bias on the coup.
Yeah.
So he won't touch Chiwenga.
All right. Aywa, listening. Thanks very much for your participation, guys. We cannot do the show without you guys. Your contribution is immense. So we will meet again next week, same time, same place. So naizozo, asante sana. Good night.
Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.